Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be working more on our Corsair. In this video we're going to start working on some of the pre-quests and some of the things that we need to do to set up the account. So previously I was just been training up to level 150 just so then I could get the temporary CRA gear, but now that I'm 150 I should be able to comfortably do a lot of the pre-quests. So there's a lot of things that I need to actually get done. First off, I need to actually unlock a lot of these bosses. So for example, Magnus drops us a badge that we can use early on. We also need to unlock CRA, so we have to clear normal root abyss 5 times. I also have Von Leon as a key source of income for myself, so being able to finish this pre-quest will give us access to more Meso, and for the similar reason we should be able to do Arcarium as well. Arcarium also gives us a pendant, and if we're lucky we might get a Dominator pendant, but at the very least we want to try to get the Mechanator pendant. And of course Pink Bean when we get to it as well. I can't click on it just yet because I'm not 160, but unlocking Pink Bean will be good because he will give us the main pocket slot item. For a lot of these pre-quests I could have started them earlier, but I felt like I wanted to get the CRA gear just to make things a little bit easier for myself, and now I can just go and teleport to each of the maps I need to go do the quests in, and I should be able to comfortably clear them all. So there are a lot of things that I need to get done in this part, and a lot of it is just getting the boss pre-quests out of the way. I'm probably going to just start from left to right and just work my way through it. And while I work my way through the pre-quests, I'm going to be talking about what kind of gear that I'm expecting to get by the time that I actually start doing CRA. To start off, one of the easiest slots for us to fill is the badge slot. There's only really 2 badges that you can actually use, one of them being the one you get from Magnus, and the other one is just the random ones you can get from Monster Park. The Monster Park ones are quite rare, so I'm not banking on getting that. So for now, I'm just going to do the Easy Magnus quest and then try to do Easy Magnus every day and hoping for a badge or even a shoulder drop. After I did Magnus, I realized I did it pretty quickly, so I decided to also do Healer. I hadn't done Healer up to this point because I wasn't sure if I was strong enough to do it, but after seeing my damage in Magnus, I decided to start doing Healer also for the money. She doesn't really drop anything, but Meso is always good. Another thing I should mention is that I'm still going to be doing Zachem every day. The main drops that we're looking for from Zachem are the eye and face accessory. These 2 are going to be mostly best in slot for us for the rest of the progression. Next up we have normal root abyss. This one is probably one of the more important quests because we have to do root abyss at least 5 times before doing CRA. We won't be able to actually clear CRA after we do the 5 runs, but getting it in early means that we don't have to wait by the time we get there, and also these bosses are pretty reliable income. There's 4 bosses for finishing 1 pre-quest, so that's an amazing amount of value in terms of time and effort. And surprisingly, when I went through all these bosses on my Corsair, it didn't take very long at all to kill the bosses. I think it took maybe a grand total of 10 minutes to do all 4 of the bosses, and for the amount of money that it gives us, especially after they changed the crystal prices in Destiny, this gives us a lot of income, and on top of that, it gives us a lot of reward points too that I can use later down the track for either Monster Park coupons or for totems. Next up we have Lion King's Castle. Usually this pre-quest I would do as a part of my training all the way from 120 onwards, but because I wanted to rush to 150 I didn't actually go back to do this until just now. The reason why we do this one of course is for more income. We get to unlock Von Leon as our boss, and he's one of the few bosses that you can actually do daily that gives you a significant amount of money. So the hard version of Von Leon gives you about 13 mil every time you clear it. We won't be able to do it just yet, but it is one of those daily bosses that we can do that gives us a lot of value. After I finished the pre-quest, I gave a go at normal Von Leon just to see if I could do it. The answer was yes, but it did take a while. It took me about 5 minutes to kill normal Von Leon, so for the time being I might just stick with easy mode until I'm strong enough to kill normal at a reasonable pace. Another reason why I wanted to do Lion King's Castle is because we are able to make use of the familiar system for the first time. You probably would have noticed while killing monsters throughout the game so far that you would be getting things called familiar cards in your inventory. They basically give you extra chances of being stronger by giving you lines of ignore defense, attack, stat lines, stuff like that. Generally speaking, they don't give you anything very good, but it is a bonus that you can make use throughout the game. Now the reason why Lion King's castle in particular is so important is because if you collect all of the Lion King castle familiars, I believe there are 6 of them total, you'll be able to get a familiar badge that gives you extra damage. To access your familiars, you have to use this thing on the left side, so let's quickly go through this. Once you go through all the dialogue, you should be able to use this key here called familiar. So I'm just going to hotkey it onto my keyboard, and when you press it, you should be able to open it up. So now whenever you use a familiar card, it will go into your familiar system. I have a few cards in my inventory, so I'm going to use these for now. And now under collection, you'll be able to see which ones I've got so far. To unlock them, you just need to click this question mark here, and it will give you a line of something random. Can be good, could be bad, but most likely going to be bad. As you can see, I just opened all these and they all pretty much give me nothing. But the reason why we collect these familiars is there is a chance of them being useful, but on top of that, we can get something called badges. As I mentioned before, the Lion King Castle badge is actually quite good, and it's very easy to get. All you need is 6 familiars throughout this entire area, and it gives you 1% attack, which is probably one of the better badges in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly collect the last few cards for this badge, and then we can continue on with our pre-quest. Took me about 10 minutes to get the last 2 cards, but I eventually got there. So with this reindeer and the blood reindeer card, this should put me at all 6 of the cards collected for the lion badge. And there we have it. Make sure you do equip the badge. You can get up to 8 of them at a time, but the lion badge is definitely one of the better ones. Alright, that's enough being sidetracked by familiar cards. Let's move on to the next pre-quest, which I think should be Pink Bean. To start the Pink Bean pre-quest, you can check the white light bulb, and I believe it's a level 140 quest, and it will get you to kill things throughout Temple of Time. The quest isn't so long anymore, and for this current event it's not even that bad because the event gets us to kill up to 2,000 mobs around a level, and the Pink Bean pre-quest pretty much covers the 2,000 mobs that we have to kill anyway. The only annoying part about this questline now is that you are required to pick up 10 of each of the masks. They only drop from specific mobs and you gotta get 30 of them, so this might take a while if you're not lucky, but otherwise the questline is pretty straightforward. And it took me about an hour to get it done, so it is one of the longer pre-quests, but it's good training along the way. I decided not to actually do Pink Bean because I'm a little bit too low level for it. It's got a lot of HP for how early you can do the pre-quest, and I didn't want to sit in the boss for over half an hour, so I decided to just move on and go for a different boss. So I decided to do normal Horntail. I wasn't really sure if I was strong enough to do it, but thankfully I think the CRA gear and just the bonuses that they've given us so far was enough to carry me through the boss. It didn't take too long to do, and I now have a chance to get the ring and the earrings from it. I'm not really sure if I'm going to use those drops, but at the very least I can do this boss every day for a bit of extra meso. Continuing on with our pre-quests, the next set of pre-quests that I decided to do was the one for Arcarium. Arcarium drops a few things that might be useful, the first one being the Mechanator Pendant. This one is a pretty common drop from Arcarium, so we'll be probably using this for our pendant as a best in slot. If we are really lucky, then we might be able to get a Dominator Pendant. That one is the upgraded version of the Mechanator, and if we get it, then we will just use it. Otherwise, he also drops us Primal Essences, which are used to make Meister Rings. I don't know if I'm actually going to get to the point where I will need to make Meister Rings, but if he drops it and I get a Primal Essence, then I'll just hold on to it and see where it goes from there. Afterwards, I gave a go at Easy Arcarium. I don't have the damage yet to do normal Arcarium, but I wanted to see just how difficult it is, and if the boss is easy enough, then I'll consider doing this for daily meso. The boss is a little bit annoying because every 20% he will do a screen crack attack, and if you are too close to him, you will just instantly die. And the only real way that you can avoid this is as soon as you see the animation, you have to run all the way to the left side. Depending on where Arcarium is standing, you do have a chance of surviving, and as long as you survive a single screen crack, you should be able to clear it pretty comfortably. Unfortunately, I didn't get a pendant drop, but I still think that the boss is easy enough to do every day for meso. The last one I have left to do for the time being is for Cygnus. By default we unlock easy Cygnus, but I wouldn't mind doing the pre-quest to be able to do normal Cygnus for a little bit of extra money when I can clear it. Also, this pre-quest lets me go through Future Hennessy, which is a decent training spot, so I'll be using this not only to do the pre-quest but also to level up. And that's going to be all the pre-quests I'm going to do for the time being, so I'm going to wrap this up so then I can work on some other things. So I'm about halfway through this pre-quest, and I don't think that I'm high enough level to finish it. It'll probably get me to go through the last couple of maps of the Stronghold, which are close to 180, so I think I'll need to level up at least to 178 or something like that before I can continue going. So I'm gonna go level up somewhere else, and I'll come back to this pre-quest once I can. With the Cygnus pre-quest done, I think that's all the bossing pre-quests I want to do for the time being. For now, I'm just going to prioritize trying to get to level 200, starting off with one of the best areas to train in for the level 178 plus. They've recently revamped Critias to be a fantastic place to train because we are actually able to teleport around in these maps. Before, we'd have to actually walk around, making these maps very unviable, but now that we can teleport everywhere, the training maps here are fantastic. They used to have high burning, but because everyone's back in the server, they're not so good anymore compared to back then. But regardless, these spawn rates are very good, and the little bit of burning always helps to push levels. In between the training, whenever I got bored, I decided to do some Monster Park runs. Now that we're actually strong enough to do normal Root Abyss and get those boss crystals, I can actually start affording to do 7 runs each day. If you guys don't know, you can actually buy Monster Park tickets from the cash shop for 3.5 mil each run, and every day, because you get 2 free runs, you just need to buy 5 each day, which adds up to about 17.5 mil, and just doing normal Root Abyss nets you under 20 mil, which covers basically your Monster Park runs. So starting from now, I'm going to be trying to do 7 runs each day, working towards that Monster Park medal, and also getting extra EXP. So while I was training, I realized that it was actually Ursus time. So when I say Ursus time, I mean during some periods of the day, Ursus actually gives you twice the amount of meso, and this is usually when you see most people on doing this boss. If you try to do Ursus on times that people aren't doing the boss, you'll find it difficult to actually find people to run with. But I believe right now, there should be people running it, so I'm going to do Ursus 3 times to see if I can get extra money. Hopefully I don't die before I load in, so fingers crossed. Let's see how the runs go. It's a bit laggy to do all 3 of the runs depending on your connection. As someone playing from Australia, it's not always the most consistent, especially with Ursus, so just be a bit patient with it and hope that you don't die before you load in. At the end of it, it's an easy 50 mil for me every time I get the chance to do my 3 runs, assuming I don't crash. Later on, as I level up, the money amount starts going higher and higher, so whenever I can, I'm going to try to do my best to catch Ursus at double meso time, just for that easy income. So I just got to level 199 using the 2x EXP coupons that they gave us. At level 180, they give us a 2x EXP coupon box that gives us 10 15-minute coupons every week. And I used a few of those to get to 199. And now, just for the final stretch, I'm going to get my last level to 200 using the Haven shortcut. For those who don't know, at level 199, you can do the quest, A New Home. And after talking to a few of the characters inside Scrapyard, you'll be able to get a full level off of this. I don't know when they buffed this, but now it gives double EXP, so you used to have to chain to 50% or so before doing this, but now you can just do it straight at level 199. And with that, we finally hit level 200. This is pretty much the beginning of the main part of the journey. All the way up to level 200, it's basically like the tutorial for Maplestory now. And now that we are actually level 200, we unlock so many new things. We unlock our 5th job advancement, we unlock the Arcane River, and so many extra rewards. However, for this video, I'm going to leave it at that. There's way too many things that I need to cover now that I'm level 200, so I'm probably just going to go through them in the next part. So on that note, guys, thank you all for watching and joining me on this journey so far. In the next part, we'll be going through some of the things that we can do now that we've hit level 200, including our 5th job advancement, the Arcane River, the V Matrix, and all that sort of stuff. I'll try my best to explain it as best I can. It won't be super in-depth, but hopefully it will give you guys an understanding on how the new systems work once you hit 5th job. On top of that, we're going to be trying to do more of the bosses, especially the ones that I skipped so far, such as Pink Bean and Chaos Horntail. Because it's a terror burning character, we do get a lot of extra rewards. I'll be going through my thought process on how to make the most out of the things that they've given us in terms of the rewards, so hopefully you guys will have better understanding on how to make the most out of them. And finally, I will also be going through what I'm going to be aiming for in terms of my gear. After you hit 200, it becomes a better time to focus on your gear as opposed to pushing levels, because the Arcane River is quite tough without the appropriate equipment, so hopefully we can get stronger before we get stuck in our dailies. If you guys are enjoying the video series, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. It really helps me out a lot. Wherever you guys are in the world, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. And as always, take care. I'll see you guys in the next part.